Hey, wait, we've got a copy. Like here you go. Imagine the cover right there,
There it is.
right on cue.
Perfect. It's so pretty. I love it. And
Uh,
I think you posted one in your stories. It was like the Spanish edition.
there
And
is a Dutch edition that I
okay,
might have posted. Yeah,
that one looked really cool too.
thanks. I'm sorry for interrupting your intro by barging into this live.
No,
Continue.
that's
Sorry.
okay. It's always very just random, whatever I can say until people join. So you rescued me.
Sorry.
How's it been going? You're a week, almost a week post pub date. Was it wild?
It was magical. It was great. We had a really lovely launch event at the Strand bookstore in New York City, which is one of my favorites. Had a lot of friends and family there who kind of helped me with like moral support while I was writing this and through the whole publishing process. And yeah, it was wonderful to have everybody there. And now it's finally in readers' hands, which is very exciting.
I have been seeing people raving about it. So I'm seeing it everywhere, and I hope that that's just like continuing because everyone needs to read it.
Yeah, I hope that too.
Well, let's kick off with you kind of just telling us who you are and how we got to this point right here.
Sure. So, hi everyone. Hi Instagram Live. My name is Edward Schmit. I'm the author of this book right here. It's called The Open Era. Um, about me. Yeah, I'm a debut author. I live here in New York City. I work for a mental health nonprofit. I'm a big mental health advocate, and I also write books. I wrote this one, and it came out on Tuesday. It's called The Open Era. It follows the first openly gay male tennis player to compete in a Grand Slam. He has to battle his mental health, media attention, and a handsome new rival across the net. And it all takes place during a pretty epic 2 weeks at the U.S. Open right here in New York City.
Well, it sounds like you've never said that before.
It's memorized. It's in there.
It's so funny when I have these conversations with authors, it's always like, yep, this is just muscle memory at this point. But hey, it's great.
I never like honestly. There are a few different versions that I say, and I never know which one's going to come out. So that was a surprise to me. But yeah, there's like three or four of them in there.
It's perfect. Where did you get the inspiration for the open era?
Um, it's weird because I was a theater kid growing up and I did not care about sports whatsoever, and I cannot express that enough. So like for me to have written a sports romance about tennis is wild. But the truth is, I was looking for an outlet to work on my mental health, and a great way to do that is to work on your physical health too. And I didn't really care very much about like sports or exercise or anything, but I kind of caught myself falling in love with tennis at the U.S. Open in 2021, and I was like, I like watching tennis. I might like to try playing it too. So I kind of went all in. I got a coach. I joined clinics. I was reading autobiographies, watching tennis movies. It became my entire personality, and it has been for a while now. And I was looking for openly queer players to support and watch. And there are quite a few female players ever since Billie Jean King, but zero men at the time. And I kind of got that stuck in my brain. Like, what we've seen men come out in almost every other major sport, but like, what is it about tennis that might prevent someone from doing that? And yeah, that question buried it in my brain, and I kind of like had to get it out via this book. So it was just kind of born from an obsession with tennis and a simple question: what would it be like to be the first?
So, were you playing around with like writing before that, or did this just kind of hit your brain and you were like, someone has to tell this story? It's gonna be me, I suppose.
I starting in high school, I was writing like plays and short films, and so I think I've been writing a lot of my life. Um, I never really thought that I would write a novel though, but when I came across this idea, um, so the main character, his name is Austin Hardy. He's 20 years old, and he is struggling with his mental health, anxiety, and there's a lot of like internal anxiety thoughts that I thought was best explored through interiority via a novel. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot. I took a course, an online course, and was like paired up with a bunch of really talented like classmates who were, and a teacher who was kind of reading behind me as I was writing. So that was really helpful, and helped like shaping the story and making sure like it was tracking with readers. And yeah, that's so this is my first venture into this.
Kind of side noting here, is that a course that is available? I know a lot of people that watch these are
Yeah.
like aspiring writers. Is that something someone can look into?
Yeah. Yeah, it's called Curtis Brown Creative, and it's based out of the UK, but they let anyone join. I'm in the US. And yeah, they offer a bunch of courses. And yeah, it really helped me. A lot of the components of it helped me. I was paired up with a really lovely teacher named Catherine Johnson, who's an author, and kind of gave me the butt kicking I needed for this, and also just like lots of encouragement too. And I the yin and the yang there was good.
Yeah, sometimes it's great to get out of that little silo and have someone else either tell you like, "Hey, it's terrible, it needs work," or like, "You're doing so great, sweetie."
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Well, you've alluded to this already, but it's very much, while it is, you know, marketed as a romance, it is also very much Austen's story. So, what did make you choose to tell it from one point of view versus two or more?
I yeah, it really is kind of locked in on Austen's point of view, and he spends a lot of the novel worrying about different things, and one of them is worrying if like this very talented, very handsome, probably straight pro tennis player who's ranked world number two. His name is Diego Cruz. He's wondering if this guy's actually into him. He starts to form a friendship with him, and he's like, not sure. If I gave you a Diego chapter, you would know. And I want you to be locked in with Austin. I want you to be playing these matches with him. I want you to be inside his brain and worrying about the same thing that he's worrying about. So it was pretty clear to me very early on that this needed to be locked down, single point of view, present tense.
So, Austen is, like you said, first openly gay male tennis player at the top level. Being gay isn't new to him. It's not a novelty, but he has to now deal with, you know, the historic being the first in an arena. So why was it important to explore the idea of this, of first, and the historical impact and maybe the weight that that has on someone?
Yeah, Austin came out in high school. It was really no big deal, his freshman year of high school. And his sexuality hasn't been a big deal until he qualifies for the US Open, and he makes history just for being open about who he is. And the focus from the media kind of turns to that because we haven't seen an openly gay male tennis player to compete in the Grand Slam, and it's a big deal in many ways. Austin doesn't think so. He wants the focus to be on the tennis, and anything else is a bit of a distraction. And so he struggles with like the attention there, and it kind of contributes to his anxiety taking a turn for the worse. And it in the book, like I'm sort of exploring like on one hand like the responsibility of that being like a role model for folks and a poster boy, but also just like wanting to do your job and being recognized for your performance.
Yeah, I feel like that's always such an interesting dynamic to see, especially as people continue breaking, you know, barriers and you're like, how much of this weighs on them because they do just want to do their job
Yeah.
versus I want to show people like we're here. And so I was really interested in getting to see that side of him where he's like, I just want to be able to play and focus on my game and then continue forward. So
Yep. Yeah.
I thought it was a really interesting topic to explore. You have talked about mental health and how that's close to you and important for you to talk about anxiety, Austin's anxiety. It's essentially its own character in this story. So, why did you want to so vividly explore it and talk about it?
I'm not a big journaler. And I know it's a great self-care activity, but like I don't know, just me sitting there talking about my own thoughts, maybe that spooks me a bit. But I think I poured a bit of myself into this story through various characters, and through Austin, like a lot of his anxiety symptoms are close to home. So I maybe that was a way of me processing that in a small way. But yeah, and story is about conflict, and Austin is up against a lot. He's up against the fiercest competition of his life. He's up against a crush, which really sucks to have a crush on somebody you're playing tennis against. And three, his mental health has really never been worse. And those are sort of like the three components, like characters, um, thematic characters in the book. You're right, because anxiety does kind of have like its own character there, and so does the tennis, and so does this blooming friendship turned into maybe something much more.
Well, I completely spaced there for a second, but aside from anxiety, there's other like heavy topics like heartbreak and grief, and we haven't touched on Austin's background and the things that he's already been through, but there are just heavy, weighty topics here aside from what we've already discussed. So I'm curious to know what your approach was to writing them with sensitivity and care while also just being hopeful and getting readers to the end point.
Yeah. And with the mental health stuff, like I was able to approach that piece of it with my own lived experience. And it's always, I think, good when you can do that. It gives a level of authenticity. Um, and some of the other pieces I don't personally have direct experience with. But yeah, a lot of it was like building Austin's backstory and explaining why he's in the position that he is, and building those obstacles that he has to deal with. And I wanted him to feel like a real person with real things that he's overcoming. And I think a lot of the characters in the book are doing similar things, although we don't have a lock on their point of view and their internal monologue. But whether you have your mental health is great, congrats, or it's you're working on it, like we all have mental health. And I think that it's a real representation of what people could be going through, unfortunately. And Austin is quite resistant to therapy when it's first floated. And I think a lot of us feel that way. Like maybe we're not able to accept that something's wrong. We need to work on something, but it's worth it, even though it's tough. And it was important for me to show Austin going through a nuanced and relatable struggle.
I really appreciated how well formed he was. Like I feel like sometimes and this is not a knock on anyone else's writing style, but sometimes you read a character and you're like, I want there to be like something. I feel like I'm missing a little something. And with Austin, I felt like I could pinpoint like there are certain things about him that they're annoying. You're like, why are you behaving this way? But I think there's something so
We should
special.
also disclose that he's 20 years old too.
Well,
Like
yes, and
he's
I was
like,
going to say he's also very young, and so I thought
yeah,
it was really great how you gave him room to just be fully like all facets of himself in front of the reader. So like
Mm.
obviously we know there's things that are not always enjoyable about characters, but it was fun getting to see those points and just even over the short timeline seeing how much he grew just by like opening up a little bit more. I loved that a lot.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, yeah, and he's 20, and he's like he's up against like the most he's ever been up against in his life, and I'm not sure if he's his best self at this moment. I don't know what any of us would be. Uh, but yeah, I wanted to show you all of them.
How did you decide to make him 20?
That's a good question. I wanted it to be sort of like a fish out of water story too. Like this is his first slam, and like typically, like sometimes, like the players are even younger than Austin, who are starting in their first slam. So I knew that he needed to be younger, on the younger side. And it's sort of a story of first love too, although like often we get into a bit of his like previous relationship. But I wanted to explore first love too, and like for some of us that's around that age.
Well, it does take the story like takes place the majority of it over 10 days. Um, so how like what did you do to get buy-in? Like I'm always curious with these shorter timelines. Like how do you write in a way that makes people like buy into these love stories, into the possibility of these love stories and get people to really want to like support the characters in such a short time span?
Yeah, it was I always saw it clearly taking place completely over the US Open, and that's it. And it's a really compressed pressure cooker of a timeline that I also was interested in. Like um and yeah, a lot can happen in 2 weeks, and a lot does happen in 2 weeks. Also, only so much can happen in 2 weeks, and in the open era, you get to see the start, the beautiful start of something really special between these two guys. Um, and I think there's like all relationships, there's much more to their story, but like this is an exploration of the beginning. Um, that's those were I think the thoughts swirling. But like I always wanted it to be a fun exercise and challenge of like what how much can we do in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's kind of like the idea of summer camp, how you can like go in there, not know someone, and then you're lifelong best friends or something
Yeah,
within
yeah,
like a week or two, and you're like, I don't know how it happened, but it did, and it's real.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have a favorite scene that you wrote?
Hmm. Long pause. My favorite scene. So a scene that I really liked to write was a scene that my editor suggested that we include, and it wasn't a request for the specific scene, but it was like I would like to see one more date with these guys. I send them to New Jersey to go ride go-karts, and spoiler, and that was a fun scene to write because like each one of these like little friendship dates they have, I mean, these are like professional athletes, and their competitiveness bleeds into every single thing that they do, and that was on full display in New Jersey.
That was such a fun scene. I loved that. Um, so this book does read like a love letter to tennis, which, great. I'm sure that's one of the things that you wanted, but it also is really enjoyable as a person who knows nothing about tennis, respect it, just don't have any like background or history with it,
Yeah,
so not that love there. I also just I love this book so much. So how did you balance this in a way that tennis lovers will enjoy it while also people that have no awareness of the sport also enjoy it?
yeah. I have a long answer to that question, and there's like many different pieces. I deeply love tennis. Tennis, it's no exaggeration to say tennis changed my life and recently. And like tennis led me to write this book, which has changed my life in many ways. I I'm deeply aware that most people reading this book don't know much about tennis at all, and that was me only a few years ago. So as I'm writing it, like I know I'm holding your hand a little bit. You don't have to. You do see matches, you play matches as Austin, but it's you can follow along. Like it's not too technical. And really like the matches are there for me to reveal character. You learn a lot about Austin in these matches, and each opponent is unique. That it brings out little things in Austin that get revealed. Um, and I think, and I've seen this comment from some early readers that they've like finished. I'm like, I think I'm intense now. I think I'm gonna start watching like where the French Open just ended. And that was like it was fun to have the book come out like right around that time because you could read about fictional tennis and watch real tennis on TV.
So this one is pretty random, and I don't know if I'm the only one who picks up on these kinds of things, but Austin and Charlotte, those are both city names,
Yeah.
and Diego, like that's San Diego is a city. Was that intentional, or did that just happen? And if not, how do you choose your character names?
I'm pretty sure my sister flagged that first for me. She's like, these are city names, right? I like the name Austin, and I think it's kind of nice for him because like this is like it's like a classic example of like it's not that deep. But like when you Austin, it's like aw, Austin. It's like and you do feel, I hope you feel a little awe towards him because he's going through a lot. Um so yeah, I randomly pick Austin. Like it's kind of like you get to a place where a new character comes in and you it's like, oh shoot, I need a name for them, and you pick one, and then it's kind of like an audition for that name over the next few pages that you're writing. Like, does this feel right? Sometimes I'll change the name, but Austin from the beginning stuck around. Diego the same way. Like his name is Diego Cruz, which is like it's like just a cool name, and the guy from the exterior is a really cool guy. He's cool inside too, but like I wanted him to have like a very cool name. And then Charlotte, that one's simple. I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. So when I got to the sister needing a name, I'm like, that's not a Charlotte.
Well, I'm in Raleigh, so I always flag
Right.
Charlotte.
Right. And we met at Chapel Hill, right?
Yes.
Cool. Yep. Yep.
That's where I met. So I always
Yep.
flag like anything kind of Raleigh-ish or local-ish,
Yes.
North Carolina.
Yes.
I was like, that's a name. Oh, that's a city name. Where are we going here?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of I think those are the three city names in the book, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they were the three that I like
Yeah.
really picked up on.
Yeah. That's
If
my answer. I wish that it would there was more meaning, but that's how it happened.
I think coincidences like that are fun, so
Hmm.
maybe it's more
And
fun
you
that
find happy accidents too. It's like I think there's a joke about Austin's name a little further into the book that just like I didn't plan it for that joke. It just kind of like it was like, oh, now I can make a Austin, Texas joke. Um yeah.
if readers could only take one thing away from this book, what would you want that to be?
There's so many like there's a lot of more complicated themes I think happening, and you've asked really great questions about all of them, but like in the end, like I just want you to have a fun time reading this book, and I think that's what it is. You're in for an epic 2 weeks at the US Open. It's epic gay tennis, and about two guys falling in love on the tennis court.
I love that answer because, this is a question I often ask. And like, when I think about, oh, if I were to ever write a book, that seems like such a hard question to answer. But then at the end of the day, it's like, can't it just be for fun if I want it to be? Does it
Yeah,
have to be
yeah,
deep?
yeah.
But
I'm very lucky to be Penguin Random House in Berkeley is the publisher of the book, and like on their social at the top of like, in their bio, they say we publish fun books. It's like, I would like this is a fun book, I think.
yeah.
And we of course, yeah, we talk about some deeper things along the way, but like it's a fun summertime.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love it. Want to know if you have a specific writing process? or is it kind of just here it is?
Um, this is my debut novel, and I was sort of figuring it out as I go, but I have now settled into a routine, which is alarm goes off at 5:45 a.m. and then I ignore it until 6, but then I try to get up because the beginning of my day is like the best. It's quiet, and I get to start the day in a fun world. And some writing days are more fun than others. Some days I don't know what I'm doing. Like I can't figure out where we need to go next, and I'll try to write every single day, or at least I'll sit down to do it. But if I can't figure out like what the story needs next, I kind of won't touch it for a bit and just think. Um, but yeah, that's my routine right now, and it's working.
Well, and I know
I'm
that this is
hoping
your,
it's working.
yeah, I know this is your debut, but do you have any advice for aspiring authors, writers, something you wish you had known before you started?
Yeah, I know, and I feel so weird giving advice this early in the process, but I will say things that worked well for me. And I think that, and I said it earlier a little bit, it's like I was obsessed with tennis. I was obsessed with this question. Find what you're obsessed with and write about it. Because I was like, I didn't know that I was going to write this book, and I was doing research. I didn't even realize I was doing research. I was like reading books for about tennis for fun, and then watching tennis matches for fun, and like that it was research and I didn't know it. So like if you're obsessed with a topic, if you're obsessed with a glimmer of a story that won't leave your mind for X amount of time, that could be telling you something, and pull that thread.
Well, and no rush. Everyone wants you to enjoy this time. But I know people are curious about what's next for you. If you're going to continue this journey, what that might look like. So, is there anything you want to share?
You will see a new book from me uh next year around this time. It is another epic queer summer adventure. It has nothing to do with the open era, although I think I do mention tennis one time in the book, and let's see if that sticks around. But yeah, it's just been like another fun time writing that book. And yeah, it's so weird to be like I wrote the open era a long, long time ago now, and like yeah, there will be another one out there in a year from now.
Well, we can't wait. I mean, that feels like forever away, but it'll get
No,
here
it's
soon
it's
enough.
gonna be fast. I felt like the open era was coming out like it used to be like 3 years, 4 years, and now all of a sudden it's here. It's like it goes by fast.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
readers, please stick around long enough and read the second book too.
well, the event we were at together, I mean, you were there. I attended. You were there. We were not
We were
together.
there together. We were there. You were there. I was there. We were there.
It
That
was
was a great
amazing.
event too. Thank you for coming. That was so good. Like
It
that
was
was
so
like a
great.
really amazing event.
Yeah,
It
I
was my
immediately,
first one.
well, I
Um,
emailed your team and I was like, you need to do these again because that thing was amazing.
it was so
So,
good.
but that was like already 3 months ago, and it feels like it was last
That
weekend.
was
So
March. Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
wild. It'll be here before you know it. Everybody stick around. If you haven't read the open era yet, do it. If you have read it, read it again and send it to somebody.
Yes.
But thank you so much for joining me and congrats on your debut novel. It's amazing. And I just hope that everyone raves about it and loves it and that they pre order your next book.
Thank you so much. And thanks for all of your great questions. And it was nice to hang out again.
Yeah, thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.